Hey guys, welcome back to the Coins and Connections podcast, season 1, episode 3. So today we are going to talk about the infamous Goldfish Story. If you follow me on Instagram, I shared a funny but sad story about a goldfish, and I think I am going to go and make it a highlight on my personal Instagram page at Cox-Smith. But this is just a prime example why it is important to stay in your lane. We were kind of forced into becoming fish parents when we know damn well that we are dog parents by nature, okay? So I am going to get into that, and that will be our main topic of this podcast. But for now, it is time for our rapid fire question of the day. So the question is, what was the most embarrassing thing you have done while on a date? So I'm not gonna say it's it's a funny story, but it's still embarrassing, actually, for both me and my husband. We've been kind of dating off and on since high school, actually middle school. But in high school, we went on a date to Charleston, South Carolina, and we went to this Chinese restaurant. I feel like it was on Rivers Ave. We went to this Chinese restaurant, and for some reason, we did not have enough money to pay for our food. I don't know what we were thinking. I don't know if we thought we had enough money or we just weren't sure how expensive the meal was, but we came up short. And it was like we were sitting there trying to figure out, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna get out of the situation? You know, like the movies, we thought we were gonna be in the back, like washing dishes, trying to pay off this meal. There was another couple, another black couple that was kind of like right across from us. And when I tell you, it was embarrassing but humbling at the same time that this would never happen again. My husband got up, at the time he was my boyfriend, he got up and asked the guy, could he spare us a few dollars to pay for our meal? Talk about shrinking to like 1 inches to have to get up from a date. But we're in high school, so I mean, shit happens. Get up from a date to ask a guy that you don't know, that you'll probably never see again. Hey dude, can I borrow some money? I even think that we went to his car and was like looking for change or something. But the guy was nice enough to lend us a few dollars, and we were able to pay for our meal, and we died laughing the whole entire ride home, thinking like, how the hell did we get caught up in this situation? Guys, so here's a little backstory on the whole goldfish thing. My daughter went to a birthday party recently, and the party favor was a goldfish, and I'm sitting here thinking like, who gives goldfish as a party favor? But that's what it was, and now we're kind of just looking at each other like, what to do. And my daughter's like, I always wanted a fish, please, I gotta take care of it. So me and my husband, basically, we made the decision to keep the goldfish. We went to PetSmart to get the fish tank, to get the water treatment, because the lady told us that on Fort Lee, our water has chlorine in it. We got the water treatment, we got the food, we got the little scooper thingy to pick the fish up. We got a second goldfish for my son, and what else did we get? We got, I said food. We even got like a little pineapple under the sea so the fishes could swim through, and then like the necessary greenery that most fish tanks have. So, you know, we get the fish back home, we set up the fish tank, everything's going well. We did not feed them the first day because we had assumed that they had probably just got the fish that morning, and the fish had probably already eaten at PetSmart. That was us, just being us. So then we go on throughout the week, feeding the fish every other day, small amounts. The fishes are swimming around. We found out how fish sleep from Google. So fast forward to that Thursday morning, and I'm like telling my husband, man, that fish looks so weird. It's something fishy about the fishy from the party. And this is the fish that's from the party. And I'm like, it just doesn't seem right. It's not moving the right way, kind of leaning against the cage. And I'm like, oh Lord, here we go. And he's like, you know, the fish is okay. But later on in a text message, he was basically like, I was like, I told you something was wrong with that fish. And I was like, what were we gonna do? Take it to the hospital? And I just freaking cackled like, dude, you are fucking insane. But you know, I checked on the fish throughout the day. I went to lunch with a friend, and by the time I came back, right before my son came home from school, the fish was vertical, like this in the back of the fish tank. And I'm like, oh my gosh. My son comes home and I'm like, hey, hurry, come here, let's see if this fish is dead, like dead. We take the top off and I take the scooper thing and I like try to move the fish. So now the fish is horizontal and it is basically dead and floating, and I'm like, this fish is dead. So when my daughter came home, in the highlights on the Instagram, you will see, we didn't say anything. I didn't take the fish out because I just don't want to deal with a dead fish. She came home, she went to the restroom, and then she came back and she's like, are you aware that Gigi is on her side? And I'm like, yeah. My son laughed, and we really didn't want to laugh because we didn't think it was funny, but at the same time I was like, oh shit, this fish is dead, look at what we did. And she's like, and I'm like, are you okay? And she was like, yeah. And then you know how kids do, they kind of do that before they're about to cry. And I said, are you sure you're okay? And I said, come here. And she's like, she starts crying, so I kind of turn off the camera, and then I'm like, oh my God, this is freaking crazy. So then she goes on to tell me that Layla, one of her friends' fish died the same day that they got it from the party. She said, yeah, they got the fish, they went to PetSmart to get another, to get the stuff, the tank. By the time they got home, their fish was dead. So they had to turn around and go back to PetSmart. And then also on Thursday, her friend who threw the party, her fish died too. So it was the party favor people. They got them fish that died on these kids selling false dreams. But it's like the next day, which was what, like Friday, the orange fish was acting like that. And I'm like, oh, damn, here we go again. So as the day, you know, goes on, it was doing kind of like the same type of sleeper thing, kind of laying on its side. So I basically pronounced the fish dead. And I'm like, oh, this fish is dead too. My kids didn't have school that Friday because it snowed. So they had a snow day and they both kind of waked up late. So I'm thinking the fish is dead. My husband was at work. I'm like, I'm not messing with it. I'll wait till he comes home. And what happened was my daughter got up, I was doing her hair, and she said, the fish is swimming around. And I'm like, I know you lying. So I was like, oh, this fish is playing possum. And if you guys know, like most people say kids are playing possum when like they go to sleep or they fake sleep. So I'm like, okay, this fish is playing possum. But it was still moving around and was alive. It made it through Friday, and then Saturday, which would have made it a week since the fish was that we bought the fish, the new fish, which was actually like the orangey goldfish. And my husband was gonna clean the tank. He was gonna put distilled water in it. And was like, okay, maybe this fish will have a fighting chance. Maybe we'll be able to save it. But that morning when we came down, it was like, okay, now he's dead for real. So we kept looking up information on Google and watching YouTube videos. And it was just like, yeah, we don't know what we did wrong because we asked all the necessary questions at PetSmart, but that fish was basically suffering from bladder disease. Maybe we didn't have the right type of food, but when I did put the food in, I crunched it up small so it wasn't too big of a pieces because these were little tiny goldfishes. But the bladder disease will cause the fish to eat and then kind of like float back up, and even though it tries to swim, when it stops it would float by its tail like upwards because of the bloat in the stomach. And you could see at one point like let's say the feces hanging from the fish, so maybe it was having issues releasing the waste. I don't know, this stuff was crazy to me. But it's just like I was saying all years, keep your eyes on your own paper. And we were kind of forced in to being fish parents. And again, we are dog parents by nature. We know how to handle a dog. So this was just a huge awakening for us. And also the last time I had a goldfish, I was like 19 and it died in a week. So We also had fish growing up, and my parents basically took care of them. But then me and my sister kind of sneaked behind their back, and we would feed it cheese and bologna, and eventually that fish died too. So yes, I am most def a dog mom. And then I'm not sure if we're gonna buy more fish. A lot of people had recommended a beta fish, but it said most of them was like, oh, but you can only have one in a tank because they fight. So at this point, I don't know what else to get. So if you guys have any suggestions on what type of fish that I should get, what type of tanks, tag me, send me a message, email me, because now we have this little small tank and we need to fill it with fish, because if not, our purchase will go to waste. And it's like, I don't know if PetSmart's gonna take back a tank that we've already used and 2 fishes have died in, okay? So you guys let me know about that. All right, guys, so the Q Moneybags Thought of the Week. In therapy, I have been talking to my therapist about performance syndrome and also the thought of people not understanding me. This has been something that has long been an issue for me. A lot of people would say, oh, you're doing too much. And I call that like a performance thing. My dad would always put me on the spot to perform. As a kid, I loved to perform. But then also at the same time, people don't understand me when I do try to verbally explain my thoughts and my feelings and my thought process. So here's a little backstory of something that happened recently, and it's like I want you all to know that sometimes I feel people don't include me in things because I don't give up on my dreams easily. They see me working and make comments like, oh, hey, superstar, or I thought you were too big for us, or they tell people that I'm famous. I don't think any of that about myself. And I always find it weird when people say things like that to me, because it's like that thing where you love the recognition of doing something that you put your mind to and achieving it. So yes, clap for me, thanks, I love it. But when it goes into something like you're forcing these thoughts and opinions on me that you have but I've never said, it makes me feel weird, and then it just puts me in a weird space how I feel. So I basically asked my husband, like, what does that mean? What does that mean when someone says, oh, I thought you were too big for us, when I asked to be participate in an event that is going to be held locally? And that's what the lady said to me. She was like, oh, I thought you were too big for us. And I'm like, what does that mean? So my husband said that I have a A-type personality and I come off strong. But I just have to ask, why is that a problem? So I am not in control over how you feel about me or how you base your opinion of me off of an internet connection or even an in-person connection. I am a leader. I am a go-getter, and that's just that. But it does not take away from you or what you are doing. Because I'm following my dreams, I'm living out my passion, I'm clapping for myself, I'm showing up for myself daily, and I'm not taking excuses for people who want to work with me. If you want to work with me, boom. But just know that I am a no nonsense, no excuse type of person. And that is your choice, whether you want to work with me or not, whether you want to be associated with me or not. But I love myself dearly. Self-love is so good that you have to have it, that you have to just love on yourself and know that you can do anything that you set your mind to. Why should I have to walk on eggshells because you can't handle my personality? I don't want to have to dim my light because someone else is afraid to shine. Write that down, y'all. Write that down. And I'm going to leave you with these last words. Don't expect me to play small when I have big energy, period. So until next time.